Hi, this is Chris Williams. I'm in the Office of Assessment Accountability, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Student Data Review and Roster application for K-Screen. So let's begin. The Brigance Early Childhood Screen 3 provides a point-in-time assessment of a child's development in 5 areas: cognitive or general knowledge, language communication, physical well-being, self-help skills, social-emotional skills. Now, what is the purpose of our work for today? Our purpose of the work is we're going to start our new school year for this coming year in 2021-22 to begin with the K-Screen roster phase and SDRR. Now, all students must participate in our state required, in our state testing, including the K-Screen. However, some students are unable to complete assessments. There may be medical reasons why the student cannot participate. So the purpose of opening SDRR is for schools or districts to file non-participation requests for students who are unable to participate in our assessments. Now, students with an approved medical non-participation will not be expected to test. And the only non-participation that we do have for K-Screen is our medical non-participation. Because remember, as some of you who have been with me before with SDRR, you'll know that our non-participations are by test type. And so for K-Screen, it will and like I said, we do have new ones. So that's why I like to go over things with you that is a little bit different. And so for this K-Screen rosters that are going to be open in the SDRR soon, the only thing that you will be able to do a non-participation for is for a medical non-participation. And during this time, you and your staff will be able to add students to the student listing if a medical non-participation is needed. Otherwise, the student listings will be blank. You do not add students to the roster who are participating in the K-Screen because, when you get into SDRR, you'll see those student listings and you'll be like, Chris, where are my pre-populated students? Well, we don't pre-populate those during this time for this phase of rostering. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. So they'll be blank. And the reason why they're going to be blank is that, there's not going to be any students in there, but also we want you to know that for K-Screen, that the only way you would add a student is if you needed a medical non-participation for that particular student, that they're not going to be participating in the test. And of course, you're going to upload those scanned copies of the non-participation forms into SDRR. Now, you're probably saying, Chris, when is this going to open, for us to start this process? Well, the K-Screen is going to open in SDRR starting August the 25th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it will close on October the 15th at noon Eastern Standard Time for new tickets. Now, you want to make sure that if you've got any students who who cannot take the assessment and need a medical non-participation, that you do that during this time. And then also just want to let you know that there will be, when you upload and scan copies of the non-participation form, there will be a text box to provide, you relevant information about the student from the school or educational perspective. On the form itself, so you don't, you'll be able, if you've already got the form filled out, and you'll have to save it onto your computer, and then you will upload that into SDRR for the non-participation, for that medical non-participation. So you'll go to your student listing, do the drop down, once you've added the student, then you will do the drop down for non-participation medical, and then it will ask you to choose a file, and then you will choose that on your computer where you have it stored, and then you will upload that into SDRR. And once you've uploaded, there will be a box, and we'll show that later in the presentation what that text box is going to look like for you to provide from the school's perspective. Because we always like you to tell us, remember, to tell us more information about what is going on from the school's perspective on the student. And remember that when you do a medical non-participation that is not for a handicapping condition, and so you need to be letting us know what's going on with that student at this time. And remember that it's going to be a long window that this will be open from August the 25th through October 15th. And so you want to wait, you want to, wait closer to the end of the window, to put those in. But remember, don't wait too late, because if you wait too late, trying to get it approved, and you want to make sure it's approved before it closes on the 15th. So just to let you know that particular perspective, but let's go over what this form looks like. You'll notice that on the screen that you'll see the medical non-participation. Also at the top, it'll have a hyperlink that will take you exactly where it is on the KD website on the forms page. And so when you take a look at it, let's talk about filling this thing out. Because what you need to do is, first thing is go find, is to click on this link, find it, get it downloaded for you, and and get it printed out. And then once you've started filling this out, let's talk about some of these fields that you're going to fill out today. You're going to fill out the test window. You got to put in when the test window is for K-Screen, the start date and the end date. Also, you would, in the next line, you're going to click on K-Screen because that's the assessment that you're wanting to get the medical non-participation for. Then you'll go in and you'll notice that you do have where it asks if the student is on homebound or not. And so you will click if the student is not on homebound yet, then you will click that box. But if the student is on homebound, you will put that information in. Then it will ask about the students. So then we want you, it'll also have the district's, the DAC signature, which is your district assessment coordinator. They always have to sign the form as well as date it. And then it will go into the student information. What is the SSID number of the student? It'll ask you, what is the first name, last name, middle name of the student. It will ask you what grade level the student is in, what school and district that the student is enrolled in. You have to put that on there. And then you also have a box below that on this form, you will be able to put in, usually the doctor will, either fill this out or, or someone in the doctor's office will do that as well. And they'll fill this out for you. Then you also have the doctor's signature or designee with their signature on it. And it gives you lots of room to be able to put that in what's going on with the student. Also, it allows you to, if you can't get the doctor's signature, or because sometimes, it's a medical reason, and it could be that, you don't want to also bother the parents as well, because, it may be, the student is going through chemo or has been in a horrific car accident. And so sometimes you may not get, the doctor's signature, or you may not get the parent's signature. But we do want, if you can't get the doctor's signature, you want to make sure that you do get the superintendent or designee. And sometimes the DAC is the designee if the superintendent, allows that in the district. So it just depends on your district. And then also you want to make sure everything is dated. If this is all filled out completely, and you've got as much as you possibly can on there, make sure you've got the signatures, make sure you got the information, all of this filled out, then you're going to go and we'll show you how to get through to the student listing to be able to upload this information in there. So let's move on to SDRR and how we're going to get into SDRR to be able to upload this form if needed, if a student is not participating in the case screen. But remember, it's very rare that there are cases where students are not accessed with the case screen because, like you said, it is a longer window. Even though that this is not part of the case screen, is not part of accountability, it is a required assessment, and that all students who are entering in kindergarten are participate in the case screen. So let's get into the application of this. So what you're going to do is you can click on the applications login. And some of you are familiar with this applications login because you logged in the same way to SDRR when you did data review. But remember, rosters are a little bit different than with data review, because with rosters, it's going to hit back, you have to go in, and if there are any demographic changes, you have to make sure to go back into Infinite Campus and make sure that's correct. So it pre-populates that information for you from IC. So let's go into the login page. When you go into the login page, you're gonna once you click that link, it'll take you to the login. Now, if you've already gone through this process, and because this is a new process this year where you had to log in regularly and then go into the single sign-in login for SDRR this year. So if you've already done that, you can just go over to the right-hand side, click on that, and it'll be able to take you to the next screen, which is the Welcome and Home page. And on the Welcome and Home page, you'll see lots of important information. You're going to see the latest announcements. It'll have things about case screen rosters, when the window is, resources for you. Also, you'll have the I Need Help up at the top that has lots of useful information for you for case screen. And then you're going to see what is going to be open and in SDRR, which you're going to see this screen called case screen, and it's going to allow you to click on it. And when you click on it, it's going to take you down to what you see on the screen now, to where you see the SDRR task, the quick links for the student listings, which will be blank, and then for tickets, for when you're putting in the medical non-participation. So let's talk about each one of these as you go along. Always remember, when you look at the task, because the SDRR task checklist, it always gives you some tasks to help you to know what you're supposed to be doing for the case screen. And so for this one, like they vary by particular test of the task. And remember, this is optional. It's not a required thing that you have to do. But if you want to know what to do and you want to keep up with what you've already done, you can click the boxes, and when you log out and log back in, it will still keep what you've already done before. If it is blank, that means you haven't done that checklist, that particular task for the checklist yet. And as always, I always tell people, when you before this closes on October the 15th, and you have submitted your medical non-participations, make sure that you have that you have downloaded a copy of your student listing as well as your roster listing, and keep those stored securely in your district, because you always want to make sure that you keep a copy of what you've done in SDRR during the roster phase. Now, with this quick links, you'll notice that you will see where you can click on the case screen. And when you click on the case screen, it will be blank, and we'll show that on the next screen. Also, underneath quick links, you'll be able to download, everything that you need before it closes on October 15th in SDRR. Also, you'll see your tickets, your ticket history. And of course, if you put any medical non-participations, those will be coming in as new. And then you'll see that we have, you'll have a total number of tickets. That means that's the entire number of tickets that have been entered into SDRR by your district. You will also see one that will say updated more information. That means OAA needs additional information from your district to be able to approve or deny that particular medical non-participation for case screen. If we deny it, it will show up in the denied ticket. And remember that even though we may deny it, we'll always tell you the reason why we denied it. And so we just want you to know that to always look at your denied tickets, because it may have something else for you to do, or it may not have something, there may be a reason why we denied it. And so if there's nothing else for us to do, then, then that is it. And it'll always stay a denied ticket. And sometimes we deny it. One of the reasons I noticed when we were looking at rosters before and looking at denying something for a medical non-participation is because it wasn't completely filled out correctly. It was missing a lot of information on the form. And so we will deny it and have you upload it again. So that's one reason why it becomes denied. Or if you put on there and said it was a handicapping condition, we would have to deny, and you would have to, do another ticket and create if you've got additional information besides a handicapping condition. Or, sometimes we'll ask you for additional information, and that means, always look at that to see if we're asking for something. Remember, you can't do anything to a denied ticket. It'll always stay in your counts, but we usually tell you why we deny it and if there's something else that you need to do. So make sure you pay close attention to more information. Also, denied. Closed means I'm already done, that the ticket is closed, that it was it was either closed or canceled before being approved. And on the ticket, it will list who closed it and when at the top of it. Also, we have if it was approved, those are the tickets that have been approved in SDRR, and either automatically or after review by one of our OAA staff in our office. And then, of course, you have the pending. Pending means that you're waiting for OAA to approve that particular, either approve or deny that particular ticket. So you always want to make sure that you pay a close to your attention to your tickets. You always want to get those, look at those tickets, make sure that they are completed, because if you leave any ticket out there that has not been approved and it's still pending, when it gets ready to close at noon on the October 15th, then it will become what we call a denied ticket. And so we don't want you to have to go through, too much work, on this, but we do want to make sure you pay close attention to those tickets in SDRR. Now, when you click on your student listing, you'll notice you still have the same things up at the top that is as a feature of SDRR. You'll be able to see the information up at the top. You'll be able to filter on the student listing by several things, but you only get to do that is if you've got something on a student who is already added to your student listing, will you be able to use the filter information? So what you're going to see is you will click on the student listing. It will be blank. And then the way you're going to do it is if you've got a student who is not participating in K-Screen for a medical reason why, then you would add a student. When you click on add a student, you're going to need the SSID number. You'll supply the SSID number and then you're going to hit submit. Now, after you hit submit, then if the student is in Infinite Campus, it will find all of that information and pre-populate that for you onto the student listing, so you don't have to type in all that information. And then it'll ask you, the next thing is to which roster you want this to be added. Of course, the only thing you're going to add it to is the K-Screen, because that's the only thing that's going to be open at this time. And then it'll ask you, is the student taking the assessment? And you were going to say no. And then that's going to allow you to go to participation status. And then when you see participation status, you're going to filter down and click on medical non-participation, because that's the only thing that's going to be available to you for non-participation. Now, when I was telling you that, you have to make sure it's saved on your computer, the form, once it's completely filled out, upload it to your computer and save it, scan it in, save it to your computer, and then it'll be there for you to choose where to find it on your computer. Then you will choose the file and then upload the document. And then remember when I told you that, you could type in the box to provide, more than what's on the form, because we also like to know what's going on with that student. If you've got any more additional information that you'd want us to know, you could put that in the text box, and then you will upload it. And then it will, then it'll ask for your testing district and testing school. School level users will have the testing school already filled in for you, because you remember, you're adding it to your own school roster. Now your district, if you're a district level user, you will have to indicate which school that you're going to be adding the student to the roster in this district for that serves the kindergarten student. And so remember that let's talk about that particular thing that I just went over, school level and district level users, because remember, when you get into SDRR, the way to be able to get access to SDRR is, you have to go through your WAPOC, which is your Web Applications Point of Contact in your district. And so when you talk to your WAPOC, which is your district, usually it's your district technology person in your district. Sometimes it's not, but you will find out who your WAPOC is. They have to give you rights to SDRR to be able to get into it. And once you get into it, they will also, assign you rights. If I'm a DAC, I will have district level users. If I'm a building assessment coordinator, which is a BAC, I'm going to have just the schools that I'm associated with in my district, and I only see those particular students. Then once I've got that information in, I'm going to click update. And then guess what happens? Then it goes in, and then when you go to your student listing, you'll see that that you're waiting for us to approve that. Once we approve it, it will go on to your student listing as MED, medical. And that means it's been approved and you are good to go, and you've got that medical non-participation for that particular student for K-Screen. Now, we do have resources for you for K-Screen. Like I said, we have the I Need Help button, when you log into SDRR, you're going to see that I need help button on every screen of SDRR. You'll be able to get to the resources that I have here for Case Screen. It'll say, when you click on that, it'll say I need help with, and you can select Case Screen, and there'll be some information to help you with Case Screen. Also, there's also additional resources for you besides the I need help button. Of course, I've talked to you about your WAPOC to get access to SDRR. And remember, when you do get access to SDRR, you'll be able to see that as one of your permissions is the SDRR application. And so you'll click on that and be able to do the work that you need for Case Screen. You'll also have this recorded training for Case Screen to assist you. This will also be posted to our SDR page on our Katie website. And we'll send out information for you in a Monday Deck email. There will be an entry that'll allow you to know that this training is available, both the PowerPoint and the video. And then you'll be able to click on it, go through the recording, look at the PowerPoint as you're going through. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask us. We love for you to contact us and for any questions that you have in our office. Also, another important resource is the Case Screen webpage. It has the Common Kindergarten Entry Screener. This is on our KD website. It has about the Case Screen. It also has about the regulation that it's in. Also has training and resources for you to help with the district on anything that you need to get trained for Case Screen to administer it. Also, there are communications for Case Screen as well, and those are posted here as well as other resources. Also, you have, where you can get the Case Screen data, the kindergarten screen data once, because, when you're doing Case Screen, you're going to, when you're administering, after you've administered it, you're going to put that information into the online management system, which is OMS. And once that data gets in there, then we also, you have to make sure that you do put it in the OMS system, but we also have the data available for Case Screen when we get ready to release that data. Will be in open house as well, and you'll be able to go into the supplemental data and be able to see your kindergarten screen data. Also, there's data in there from previous years. Now you'll notice that, when Case Screen started in the pilot, you won't see that first year of data, but you'll see all the data that we have on Case Screen in open house as well for you. Remember that Case Screen is not part of accountability, but it is a required screener for all kindergarten students who are entering kindergarten. And remember, it is like a one point, it's a 1 point in time assessment, kind of like what you do for MAP testing and things like that. It just kind of gives you a data point at that particular time of what's going on with the student. So just want to keep those things in mind. And another thing I want you to remember is that the only thing you're going to do for rosters for Case Screen is if you have to submit a medical non-participation for a student who is not able to complete the Case Screen during the Case Screen window. So, but those are rare cases. And so normally, and remember, Don't add students to the K-Screen roster who are participating in the K-Screen. That's not what this is for. It's only for students. You only add a student to the student listing if they're not participating in the K-Screen, and the reason they're not participating is because of a medical reason. Okay. So I hope this helps you. Also want to just give you the contact information for any questions about K-Screen is Ben Riley in our office. You'll see his email as well as his number. This is also a number that you can contact us to. The 502-564-4394 is our general office for our division. On the assessment support side, and we'll also help you with anything that you need for SDRR and help you with doing your K-Screen rosters at this time. So just want to reiterate something for you. Just remember the window for rosters for K-Screen will be August the 25th. It opens at 9 a.m. and then it will close on October the 15th at noon. That'll be the last time you can submit any medical non-participation request at that time for new tickets. And then we will resolve all those tickets that, you know, if you still have some that are still left medical at noon. If you have not resolved though, we'll send you a reminder to go in and make sure that you have put in the information we need, because by 5 o'clock that day, then it completely closes. And remember, new tickets are at noon on October 15th. So you have to get all your tickets in for your medical non-participations in by that day. I do want to thank you all for all you do for K-Screen and for SDRR, because like I said, we couldn't do our job without you. We know it's a busy time for you, and you know, do not hesitate to ask us any questions that you have. I want to thank you again for all you do in SDRR and for our kindergarten students for administering the K-Screen. And don't hesitate to ask us any questions, because we're always glad and always available to assist you. So thank you again, and have a blessed day. And hopefully your school year goes off really well. And wish you the best. Have a great day.